was just about 10 years old, we used to go up in the Adirondack Mountains, and we used to go to family vacations once a year. There was this doctor that would bring a Ferrari. He brought a 250 short wheelbase. It was red, and it was just like the best looking car I've ever seen in my life. And he says, you know, he knew my father. He says, go ask your father if you can go for a ride. So I did. I went for a ride with him, and that basically changed me as far as wanting a Ferrari someday. And to this day, that is my favorite Ferrari, a 250 short wheelbase. It's all business.
Do you have one?
No, I wish I did. I've restored 6 or 7 of them, but I don't know. So you have a 41 Lincoln Continental. We just got that in today. Matter of fact, the gentleman I was just at his birthday party, he's decided to sell it yesterday, so he gave it to me and said, sell it. He bought that car, God, he's had that car since the 60s. Pretty car.
Your dad, Bob,
Yeah?
was a restorer, a professional restorer.
He was.
He started Continental, right?
Yes. I mean, you know, I learned a lot. I remember a second grade project everybody was bringing in show and tell. I brought a Model A engine in. I totally disassembled it, and I put it back together and started it up in the second grade. No. So, I mean, I knew my stuff back then in that, I mean, he'd had me doing everything at very, very, very young age. I mean, 6, 7 years old. I mean, I was sanding cars and taking them apart. And then from there, he saw that actually I could do the work, and that was the worst thing in the world, because then, oh my God, he didn't let up. Probably about 92 or 93, I started F40 Motorsports. Started that company. We were selling cars. We started off with 3 cars, and would turn the cars over and just put the money back into the system, and we're able to buy more and more cars constantly. And then take cars on consignment, and so F40 has done very well. That hot rod's a pretty cool piece. We found that in a garage down in New Jersey, and it was the winner of the 1964 Autorama. And it was pushed back in the garage, and after the Autorama was over, and it hasn't moved since. So its debut is a week from Monday at a hot rod show over in Wallingford, Nostalgia Night.
That's a biggie.
Yeah, so that's where it's going. So we have to make it run and stop by then, Roger.
So what was it about the car that Wayne liked, you think?
The fact that it is what it is, you know.
It's not pretending to be anything else.
No, and it hasn't been in the hands of 50 different people that have modified it. It's the way the guy built it.
More recently, 4 years ago, we started a television show. Great idea for a television show I want to talk to you about. Can I come up? Yeah, okay, I guess. All I want to do is follow you around with a camera. What you do, I said, you've got to be kidding me. I said, how can that be interesting? He says, it's going to be great. Wait till you see. We'd like to propose that you guys do a series of 13 episodes a year, half-hour shows, just doing exactly what you're doing. So we said, we'll give it a try. And at that point, she said to me also, she says, your life's about to change. And I said, yeah, okay, right. I mean, because of the first 2 shows, I was starting to get recognized at different places, you know, especially car events. You know, people say, hey, I saw your TV show. But I had no concept as to the power of television. Now I can't go anywhere. I mean, you know, I get swarmed. It's amazing. I must have shaken down at Greenwich this past week. I must have shaken 2,000 people's hands. We got my bus in the catalog from 125 to 150. So I said, you know, at 50 grand, I'd own that bus. So it's the auction, comes up, it's the night, I'm bidding, you know, 10 grand, I raise my hand, 20, 30, 40, and 50 grand, and I look over, and the guy who was bidding against me, he's now like this. I go, come on, one more bid. He didn't bid. All of a sudden, they look at me, and they go, sold! The guy raised the reserve, and I didn't think he'd sell it for that. I probably wouldn't have bid to 50 if I knew. So I ended up owning a bus. So now I wake up in the hotel room at 4 o'clock in the morning going, what an idiot, what did you do that for, you know? So we've turned it into a good thing, though. We filmed going up the Monterey coast, up the California coast.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
Boy, I don't know. I wanted to be a teacher, and so that I'd have my summers off, because I figured that I worked very hard with my dad growing up, and he never took any time off. So that was my goal, is to have my summers off to goof around and build things and fool around with cars. And now all of a sudden, it's my full-time job is fooling around with cars. So I guess it worked out pretty well.